first rehearsal recording of the Daily Blip podcast. Welcome, everybody, to this little behind-the-scenes look at how we're getting things rolling. So this is the first time we're recording the daily show. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through and talk about all the segments and just kind of give you, the watcher and listener, a little idea of what we're going to be doing on a daily basis here from our headquarters in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. So quick introduction myself. My name is Brian Collins. I've had a podcast for the last couple years now called the BLP, or Business Line Podcast. We're going to keep that going. We're going to do that monthly, a little longer format show with guests from outside the organization on a daily basis. We're going to have a show that's about 30 minutes long, talking about multiple things that we have going on. We're going to bring in some clients to talk about, what they do and why they like working with us. We're going to highlight some of our own people that are doing a bang-up job helping our clients. We're also going to talk a little current events and how that affects us as a company and some of the other folks that we have here, guests sitting here with me at the table or calling in from the Zoom line. We'll also bring in a guest from one of our partners called Arsenalbg Growth. He's a caller that we've got doing cold calls for us, helping our IT managed service business grow. His name's Bob Gillespie. He's doing an awesome job, and can't wait to start having him come in as well. So we'll run through all these segments right now, talk about them a little bit, and see where that puts us at the end of our time period. All right. So the second segment we're going to try to do all the time is bringing in a guest client to do an interview, a little bit of a testimonial interview. It won't be pre-screened or anything like that. Basically, what I'm going to do on a weekly basis is shoot out messages to our clients, find out who's got time to join us on a daily basis for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll have a preset list of questions that I'll go through them. I'm not going to give them to them in advance because I want it to be off the cuff. I want to get real truthful answers where they got to kind of think about it and, come up with something off the fly. So I think that'll be really good to show, just fresh right out of the gates what our clients like about working with us. What are some of the obstacles? What was it like getting started? What are some challenges? We're going to lay it all out on the line because I think, being transparent with the way we do business is important, giving clients the opportunity to, really be truthful about what they're feeling. So it'll be from all parts of our business, whether that's an IT managed service client that's here in Wisconsin or somewhere else in the country, or maybe a medical scribe client where it's a doctor coming in, or maybe an administrator from a clinic talking about why they like working with our scribe services. Might be revenue cycle management, might be a client that comes in and says, hey, here's where we really like working with you. Here's some of the challenge that we had. Hey, our revenue is up, but we're struggling with this. What are some of those things? Could be a marketing client where we're doing digital marketing for them. So we're doing a lot of different things. So I think it's important not to just focus on one, get folks from all around. And that's going to help us. It's going to give us good feedback. It's going to give us some content that we can share with you guys. And hopefully, whether it helps you, shore up your business or start a business, or your business looking for someone to partner with like us, we're hoping this content is profitable for you in some way. All right, moving on. The next segment that we're going to be doing is, like I said, bringing in our cold caller from Arsenalbg Growth. His name is Bob Gillespie. We'll be spending about 5 minutes with him. He's calling for us day in and day out, and he's a killer. He's a closer. He's only been working with us a couple weeks now. He's already set 3 appointments, and in the IT managed service world, it's hard to set appointments for calls to get out there and do discoveries. So excited to bring him in, talk a little bit about what his previous day was like, what he's running into, and what he's got planned for the day. So that'll be fun. Okay, and then the next segment is going to be our internal team highlights. So every day, day in, day out, I get messages from our IT team or from our leaders on our scribe team, our revenue cycle team, with they'll forward me message from clients talking about how much the one in particular team member from Panacea means to their organization. And up until this point, it's like, okay, we can give that feedback back to the team member, but what else can we do? So we're gonna use this opportunity to give our team members of folks to get on with us, highlight them, give them some extra kind of content to fall back on in their professional career, being a part of a show, being rewarded for what they do. We're also going to try to be creative and get our team members in maybe some sort of, monthly incentive program to where, we can give something back to them for doing such a good job with our clients, because without folks on our team working really hard, going above and beyond, doing a really good job, then, we wouldn't grow. We'd have a bad reputation, and, that's just not good enough. So really excited to start bringing people in, whether it's from our U.S. team or from our India team. Excited because some of these folks I've never even met, especially folks across the seas. We've got a lot of people on our team over there, and I don't get to meet them all. And it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited to do that. All right. So the next segment is going to be our business growth and progress segment. So this is going to be about what's happening with the business. So for instance, it could be a lot of different things. Sometimes it's growth. Sometimes it's taking a back step because something happens, and we're just going to kind of talk about it. We're not going to get crazy specific because we want to protect the identities and the innocence of those involved who may have done something good or even something that we're not so happy about. But we want to put that out there and see if we can get some feedback and dialogue from our listeners and our watchers about, have they encountered similar type of things, or what do they do in those situations and stuff. So really good example is, came into work today and found out that one of our team members just wasn't going to start showing up anymore. And this was a really good team member. This person had been with us for almost a year, coming up on that person's review of a year. Man, they were going to have a good review. They did such a good job of growing professionally over the last year. They came in with little to no experience in the seat that they were going to be doing, but they came in hungry, and they came in, willing to learn. And sometimes, especially in this day and age, when you hire people, that's really what you're looking for most, because you just don't want someone with a lot of experience to come in and be apathetic, right? Come in and say, well, I've already arrived. I know how to do this. This is going to be easy. I'm just going to cruise. This person was doing something brand new for us, and, they didn't let us down when it came to day in and day out getting better and better and really being there for the client they served. They were they worked in a virtual assistant capacity, but they were literally running a brand new, I would say, 60 to 75% of kind of back office and front office operations for a small clinic that we helped get started. And just really disappointed. A few weeks ago, we found out that they had found a different job. They wanted to leave, and that was okay. I can accept that. That's no problem. But when someone, and we talked to them and we said, hey, what's going on? What's the deal? And they told us why. And we said, okay, if we could remedy some of those things that you want better in your life, or some of those things you're struggling with, would you be willing to stay? So after a couple of days of kind of talking through it, they decided they were going to stay. We were very happy. I was very excited to be able to keep them on board. That was early last week. And come in today, about 30 minutes before we start this recording, and I find out they're not here. My office manager, Jamie, was like, did you notice there wasn't a car in the parking lot? And I'm like, no, I just really didn't. And they said, so-and-so's not here, and all their stuff's gone. So it just, this is what you go through in business. It's not something that you want, or, you want to treat your people well. And, maybe there were some things that, and I don't know, that, this person just couldn't get over, and they felt like they didn't want to address with us in person, and they felt like they just kind of had to slink out the back door when nobody was watching. But it was super disappointing, because not only did we lose a good person that we were really willing to invest in the future and help grow professionally, but now the client has nobody. This person was full-time working for our client. So we're kind of in this mode this morning of, okay, let the client know what's going on, be 100% transparent, and come up with a game plan to stop the bleeding, per se, until we get another person in that seat. Because the bleeding for them will be, there's no one to answer their phone. There's no one to set up to call patients to confirm patients that are coming in right now for appointments, or if a patient comes in to reschedule or cancel. No one's going to know. referrals that other providers in their area send over. This person was handling that. This person was handling all of their stuff that would come in from other sources to set up appointments too. So they were working directly with our RCM team to make sure claims were clean on the front end, and we had all the good information that we needed to get the claims out and processed properly. So right now, that's a challenge, and that's a reality of business. Is sometimes you don't know what you got. It's like a song. You don't know what you got until it's gone, and you think you have trust and you think you have loyalty and dedication, but the truth is, for the most part, people are most loyal to themselves, and I can understand that. But at the same time, it makes me wonder what I could have done better, or we could have done better for this person to teach them over the last year the importance of, communicating these kind of things in instances where you're afraid or you don't know what to do. Don't just kind of run away, because even if they would have come in today or at the end of the day on Friday and said, Brian, I changed my mind. I think I still want to go. I would have been okay with it. I wouldn't have got mad. Wouldn't have got angry. It's not my style in that kind of situation. This is someone else's life. We were just lucky enough to have them here. But at the same time, now we're in a situation where we're exposed, and you learn from it. I think one of the other things we learned is, we should have had a plan of action in case this would have happened. So you can guarantee that we will now. But at the drop of a hat right now, we're just scrambling to make sure that our client, everything's covered for them. So, other than that, that's kind of a downer. What's an upper is last week, on Friday, I got an email from Bob Gillespie saying he booked a new appointment for us for opportunity for IT managed service client. They're about 2.5 hours away, southwestern part of the state of Wisconsin. So we're going to be going out there in March to meet with them. Looks like a pretty good opportunity. Really excited anytime we get a chance to do a new discovery. So he did a really good job of getting me information on the size of their company and how many employees they had and what their technology setup was like. And so we'll see when we get out there if it's a good opportunity. It definitely well could be. Looking forward to talking to Bob a little bit. It's a cool thing. I can listen to his call. So that's neat too. So that's exciting. Couple other opportunities from some of our partners that we work with for leads and RCM came in last week, so we'll see if that turns into anything. But overall, things are great. It's like I said when I started out in this segment, losing somebody that you saw grow over the last year tremendously, and one thing to lose them, but in this way, it just stings a little bit. So we'll talk about internally what we could have done better to avoid that, and we'll do whatever it takes to make sure our clients in good shape over these next few days until we get somebody else in that seat and get them trained. But it is what it is. So that's an example of the business segment. A lot of times we'll have somebody sitting here with me talking about that from the team, and how to address that. Those things, the good things and the bad things, and we'll be as honest as we can. But like I said, we'll keep it relatively discreet because, I don't wish anything bad to happen to anybody I talk about here. But I do want to share the things that we go through, because I know listeners go through these kind of things too, and it'll be good to get some feedback on that. So anyway, moving on from the business growth and progress segment, current events. So this is just going to be a time to talk about things that are going on in the world and how they affect business and our business and other businesses that we know of. A good example of this today would be early last week, I got a call from a client that said, "Hey, Brian, how's it going?" Good, the little things aside. And he said, "Well, we need to talk a little bit about our contract with you guys for IT because I got to be honest, we're struggling right now. And I don't know that we can afford it anymore." And I said, "Okay, tell me about what's going on." So this client in particular, their business organizes, secures government contracts for kind of third-party companies that do, infrastructure setups of different varieties. So this really good client of ours, local, not too far away, But they set up this business years ago to go out there, find opportunities for companies that do certain things for, let's say, different government agencies, physical locations and setups. They go out and they find the opportunities, and they do all the writing, all the everything. And there's a lot of work, believe me. We've been working over a year now and trying to figure out how to get into government contracting. But they're doing all the hard work of finding and securing the opportunities for these companies. And if they do win these contracts for the companies, they would get a percentage portion of the contract funds. So the end company doing the work was happy because they didn't have to employ a bunch of people or pay a different third party to do these things. They could just get to work, and get paid. And then this small company was happy because they were really good at doing that. Well, what they found out at the end of last year is this would have been as the previous administration in the U.S. here was closing up shop and getting ready to leave the White House. They started getting calls from their companies that do the work that they contract with, saying, and then the agencies, the government agencies that were supposed to send the checks to them, that they checked the accounts that they pay the contractors through, and the accounts were wiped clean. There was no money in the accounts. So let's say, take about it this way. Let's say you were a company that won a government contract to build security fencing for a government agency on, let's say, on the East Coast of the country. And this was a $10 million contract to build secure fencing around the facility, or to update it, or to fix something in the building. And you had been doing that the last couple of years. You were wrapping up the project, and some of it had been paid, but a lot of the times on these projects, you don't get paid fully until you finish the deal. You finish the deal, and then you talk to the agency that's supposed to be paying you, and you talk to that person, and they say, sorry, we can't pay you. The funds are empty. This would have been back in last November that this started happening. And this was happening across the board with all their contractors. So this client of ours basically said his business is down to maybe 10 or 20% of what it used to be, and he's had to go back to working for another company as an engineer. That's a tough place to be, and so it's a challenging thing that we got to figure out as a company, because we have a company that we have a 3-year contract with that we could totally just say, nope, too bad, so sad, you got to pay it all the way. That's not what we're going to do. That's not how we function. That's kicking somebody while they're down, right? So we'll go back and look at it and figure out, what are the things that we can provide. This is an IT client from an IT perspective to make sure his environment is secure and he has help when he needs it for the limited amount of that business he's doing to get him by until he can build back. So that is an example of how current events are affecting our company. And we've got other things too, like, government agency funding freezes right now to make sure that the money's going to the right place, which I totally agree with, affects some of our companies that have some of our clients that get government grants, when they use those government grants to pay for IT things or to pay for other things. So, things that happen in the world do affect us, but it doesn't make us go into our shell and say, oh my gosh, the world's falling apart. What are we going to do? There's nothing. There's plenty of business out there. There's plenty of things to get done, plenty of things to find. So that's an example of the current events segment. Okay, cool. All right, moving on to kind of the end of the show to wrap things up. This is just something where, we're going to thank people for being a part of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've probably got coming up the next few days of the week, and maybe tease some of our guests and some of our topics. But we're also going to encourage you guys to check out our website, check out our YouTube channel. If you like what we're going to be doing, we're going to do the obligatory like, subscribe, click the bell, whatever it is that we can do. But we're going to try to make this as kind of real-time and exciting as possible, ground zero for a company that is doing a lot of different things. And we want to make as much content as we can for potential clients to come and see who we really are, that we're the real deal. and for you guys that are building your own business and to be able to, interact with us and comments and reach out. And some of you guys that are listening will probably be part of the show at some point in time if you reach out and, it's the right topic or the right person. So we really appreciate the opportunity to do this. We know we're kind of blessed and highly favored to be able to have the people on the team and the equipment and being in a place in a country that allows us to do this. So we're happy. We're ready to get started, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to the Daily Blip.